Oh no, unsubscribe. Unsubscribe.
Yeah, sod that shit.
Can I put 5.56 in an airsoft gun?
That is no possible. Oh. Shooting this one quickly handheld because it's bloody late and I need to get this out. But if you are here to watch the podcast and you haven't already watched either Mark or Darren's parts, the links are either appearing up here or down in the description below, so go and check those sections out as well. Possibly first, film them in a different order to the way you're probably watching them, but hey ho. And if you haven't already, subscribe to those two channels. Shut it, camera. Subscribe to those two channels and subscribe to AATV, the guest of this episode. Anyway, let's roll the clips. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So topic number 3 is my topic, and I actually kind of was inspired after you, Tom, asked your questions about DMRs, and we had that little discussion about should airsoft guns kind of simulate the ranges that their real steel counterparts actually do. So you were saying pistols should be using .2s with no hop.
Yep.
And I think that's quite a cool idea because, I mean, for the most part, what's the point in buying these expensive guns that are 7.62 or 338 Lapua or whatever, and they're not actually doing anything more than someone running an M4 with a drum mag? So what do you guys think?
It's an interference from someone.
Okay, I'll start maybe because I kind of ended up starting the topic off with a silly post. To me, it's come from playing. So I've played in World War II, Vietnam, Cold War, 90s games, and it gets a bit silly when you get a whole load of like British infantry with Lee Enfield bolt actions, and they're engaging a bunch of Germans with MP40s, and the guys with MP40s are outranging the Lee Enfields. And they have an enormous firepower advantage because they're fully automatic versus a bolt action. And you're like, okay, so how do we stop that? So if the Lee Enfield is shooting 55 metres, why don't you just turn the hop off on the MP40s? So they're doing 20 metres, and then you get something a bit closer to what would actually be happening. Because for me, airsoft is... I've done enough range testing now and enough accuracy testing that I've kind of come to the conclusion that airsoft is basically a 10 times less scale war. Airsoft guns have 10 times less range and they're 10 times less accurate. So if you take that if you extrapolate that, so the DMR video kind of almost crystallised it because our DMR was reaching out to 80 metres. Most AEGs we test at UK power levels will do 50-55. So, 5.56 will just about reach out to 500 odd metres. Mark will probably, I don't know if you agree with me or not, you've shot some
real stuff.
Yeah.
7.62
will generally do 800, 900.
Yeah. If we talking effective range here.
Yeah. We're not talking point target.
Yeah, but we're talking
It'll go that far. Yes.
Go that far. Yeah. And most airsoft guns, most AEGs aren't actually that accurate at 55 metres, and most DMRs aren't actually that accurate at 80 metres. So if you take those two numbers, which are 10 times less than the real one, pistols then should only do 10-20 metres, which is about right with a hop-off.
Well, yeah, plus that's generally what sort of range you're shooting them at anyway, because generally if you've got a pistol, it's a sidearm, and in airsoft, 9 times out of 10, when you take it out, you're either entering a building or you're pulling it out whilst you change mags on your primary. So you're only going to be engaging 10, 15 metres anyway.
Yeah, and then also, I think, it's kind of, it makes more sense in a milsim or a battle sim or a film sim than it does in a normal skirmish day, because skirmish, you can't really legislate against people. But if someone has the disadvantage of carrying around a big heavy 10, 15 pound DMR that's a metre long, and someone's carrying, so they're getting the extra range, but here we go. Or they have a battle rifle, and a battle rifle would also count. That would do about 5 feet and die. And anything with a full power rifle cartridge, absolutely fine. Doesn't have to be DMR. But then if you all these, but then the converse, if someone's running around with a really light PCC of that abortion, then they're gaining advantage from lightweight and being able to move fast, but actually that's not quite right for the rest of the game. So it was just a thought, and it kind of got me thinking. But a lot.
It does. Sorry, go on.
But a lot of it's come from my testing, is that you start going, well, that's 10, and I've shot lots of BBs, and they're generally 10 times less accurate. So this 10 times less range, but 10 times less accurate thing, just seems to kind of, whether it's just a coincidence, it just seems to work out quite nicely.
Well, what I was going to say when you was on about, should airsoft guns be, have the same sort of ranges as real steel, as in comparatively, I almost turned around and said, yeah, not if I'm building them.
Well, this is it. I've got UK League AGs that will do 75 meters, but it's but then you could argue that's the equivalent of like a Mark 12 SPR with Mark 262 Black Hills ammunition and blah blah and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, just like Spectre's MP5, when I first built that, it was outranging Bonza's Dragunov.
And it almost links back to the conversation we had about Novrich's pistol, whereas that thing will probably do 65 metres easily. And then he goes, why am I carrying this big heavy gun when I can just be carrying this little tiny light thing?
Yeah, I can get a full auto pistol, fully upgrade it. Sorry, Ben.
So Novrich's video today, I'm just trying to find the exact title because I want to quote this correctly. Where is it? Sniper pistol, question mark.
Sorry?
That, yeah, that's Novrich's video for today. But yeah, we've actually been beaten to the punch here because I think it is Swamp Sniper, his site over in America, and Jet's Blue Fox Tracker events. They run different FPS limits for different types of guns. So I think SMGs are at 1 joule and can do full auto close quarters. Then AEGs, gas blowbacks, just standard rifles are up at 400 and have minimum engagement. And then DMRs above that and snipers above that. Which I actually quite like. But then it's how do you classify what is what?
Yeah, because most US sites use bang rules because they're using 400 FPS guns. So under 10 meters, 10 yards or whatever, you have to bang rule people. So the way they do it, yeah, at Jets events, is if you're running a 1 joule gun, then there's no bang rule. You can just shoot people.
What? I've seen a couple of videos on it. What's it called? Bloodsoft. Has anyone seen that?
Is that where they're like stood about that far apart and they're just full autoing each other in the face?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, there's quite a few in Asia, isn't there, that do that?
Shooting to submission.
That's where you upload to Pornhub.
Oh, surely that's more like 4chan.
Bloodsoft submission.
Yeah, because there are some places in Asia where it's no FPS limits. So people rock up with AEGs full auto. They're doing like 700, 800 FPS.
Yeah, same in a lot of large parts of Eastern Europe.
Oh, really? Is it?
No limit airsoft. It's insane. That's the one where you're always seeing a lot of clickbait videos, but you're seeing people always going pop with BBs out of their face. Yeah, that's because somebody's come around the corner with 4,500 FPS in a little SMG and gone Vindaloo down somebody's face.
Well, speaking of high FPS, there was that story that came out a couple of probably months ago now. The guy who went to a site somewhere in Eastern Europe and accidentally took his real Glock instead of his airsoft Glock, dropped it on the field. Then some kid picked it up and shot it, thinking it was an airsoft Glock, and I think shot his brother in the leg with it as well.
Was it a no limit site then? If that case, it's fine.
Oh, well, hang on.
Walk it off, you big pussy.
At least call his hit.
Well, it depends, because if they play a no team kill rule, then no, you didn't have to call it.
Ow, that hurt. I'll be fine.
There was a video in the States, and a guy playing in one of their indoor sites or one of their kind of open air arena sites, and a guy dropped a mag, and it was from a Glock, and it had 9mm in it, and then so they never quite know whether he was actually he was concealed carrying an airsoft Glock on a real Glock onto the airsoft field or not.
That would be a tad embarrassing, wouldn't it? Accidentally takes his real Glock that he's licensed to conceal carry onto airsoft, and then swaps it over for his airsoft one, and somebody tries mugging him in real life. That's it. Shit.
Do you see that guy who was doing some airsoft target shooting and loaded 5.56 and shot a pot noodle from like 400 miles away?
Yeah, exactly. You can be done with magic of smoke and mirrors.
Brilliant range on that 5.56.
Use a GBLS, that would accept real range.
That took ages to arrange.
Mainly because Ramsey's that bloody busy and he's got pikey net.
We're just sending stuff back and forward, and actually the SFX at his end he's got a bit of plastic tubing with a load of hamster bedding and bits of wood and stuff in it, and with a compressor gun shoved in at the other end, and it's his missus that pulls the trigger on the air compressor that shoots all the stuff across. So it wasn't even digital effect. It was complete, but it worked brilliantly because it was just this stuff spraying. But it's just
It did look really good.
We were just trying to work out what was going on.
Redneck FX.
It was last month. Ramsey he messaged me saying, "Can you guys film me an intro for the last part of my L85 video?" I'm like, "Wow, it's fucking coming out," and and I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. You'll regret it asking us lot to film something for you." So basically, I got the lads together, we writ something down, and he's like, it only needs to be 30 seconds. I'm like, okay. We ended up writing something that was about, 5 minutes long, and it was like, scene for scene, a Joker scene from The Dark Knight, where he's like, got a guy tied to a chair, and he's got the camera, and he's being nuts.
Image is disturbing. Tell them your name.
Purple helmet.
You mean Ramsey's normal Friday night?
Yeah. So Ramsey doesn't do anything by half. So we filmed a little dummy run to show him this is what we're gonna do. And as soon as he saw it, he's like, "That's brilliant, but Jesus fucking Christ!" And and then a couple of days later, he's like, "I've got a Batman mask." I'm like, "Shit, we are committing. You go, son."
Yeah, the work he put in for our little collab was ridiculous.
I loved it. I absolutely loved that video. He's so good in front of a camera, and he's got like presence and personality, and you actually believe he knows he's not being filmed, sort of thing. It's like you believe he's casually eating a pot noodle and all that.
You believe he's just casually chatting to himself, yeah.
It was like, oh no. Unsubscribe.
Yeah, sod that shit.
I kind of put 5.56 in an airsoft gun.
That isn't possible. Oh.
So what do you think about... So I think, going back to what we were talking about, the issue is everyone is currently like the whole 9mm PCC trend at the moment, which means like 99% of all the guys on the field are going to have their hops turned off, which doesn't really bother me because it means I get to shoot them a lot. But because that's another thing I personally hate is this 9mm PCC trend that's going on. Because and it's largely my kind of preconceptions because I like military service weapons. So a US semi-auto civilian self-defense 9mm carbine is not a military service weapon.
Well, this kind of comes back to the topics we were talking about last time, and about how it could be the end of airsoft as we know it in the UK with the whole UCASA defence against the government it's because it's military simulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Military simulating if you're using a civvy-styled weapon.
No.
Well, that's military sim because that's a M1A.
It's a carbine, yeah.
It's called a carbine.
Well, let's not get started on carbine versus carbine.
I don't see Heinz on it anywhere.
Was it Bloke on the Range that did a video about that? I don't know if any of you guys watch Bloke on the Range.
Now, if you go to a British English dictionary like oxforddictionaries.com, and we let the nice robotised lady voice tell us what the British English pronunciation is, it is
carbine.
But it's so yeah. I mean, it's something I worry about. It's partly why I do my channel the way I do, and I write my articles the way I do, because I was playing Airsoft prior to the VCRA, and I was involved in defending Airsoft against the VCRA, and I wrote, so I've seen where it can be, and and I think people don't necessarily understand just how close we are all of the time.
Yeah, right on a knife's edge, yeah.
Yeah, and people think, oh, it'll be fine. It really isn't, and it really could just disappear, and then we'll see what happens.
Year or the year before, there was they reviewed the VCRA, or they were making amendments to it, and that's where the hard dual limits come from now, hasn't it? Well, we've got a hard dual limit.
It's slightly different, because that was the Policing Act, but yeah, it does get looked at, and the argument could so easily be, well, you're not using military weapons, so what's the point?
Yeah, you might as well have these Nerf gun looking things, yeah.
Yeah, and then a large part of my joy is I wouldn't play. I'd go and ride bikes more. So that's partly why I don't like this PCC thing, and plus it's just fine. And they should all be on semi anyway permanently, because if they're cloning US
US civilian, it's all semi.
and then they put pistol braces on them. Right, so and Arrows have just done this. They've started putting pistol braces on their PCCs because they're copying US. And you're like, yeah, but it's not an NFA item, so it doesn't need it doesn't need pistol brace. But I guess that's what they're watching YouTube, and they're seeing all the prominent gun YouTube channels shooting, and that's what they're making. But we're in a different market, and that's partly why I could go on forever. But that's partly why we've got the Speedsoft problem here. It's because people are watching US Airsoft, trying to bring it into the UK, and it's a completely different environment over here.
I suppose going back to the if your Airsoft firearms comparatively had the same sort of ranges as their real steel counterparts, it might stop one of my bugbears, which is people getting something like a 5.56 M4 with a pistol brace, sticking a whacking grit scope on it and going, "It's my DMR."
Yeah, and that's we've just been talking about this in the video. It's like, and it's very site dependent, but a lot of milsims will want you to have either a 7.62 receiver, or have something like a Mark 12,
a clone of something that legitimately was used or is used as a DMR.
Could you imagine someone rocking up with an Evo and calling it a DMR and being like, "Yeah, this is my DMR, let's go."
It is almost a meme, but I have seen MP5K DMRs with scopes on, and no stock.
Well, I've been to sites where people rocked up and they'd had like a P90 and then they've been like, "Oh, it's 400 FPS," and then the site's been like, "Yeah, fine, just run it as a DMR." I was like, it's a PDW. It is not a DMR.
No. Yeah.
A Section 5 firearm, probably. Not been tested in court yet, but someone's going to get done.
Admittedly, this was about 3 years ago, so it was.
Yes, it's just about. It's just. But yeah.
Watch this. In about 5 years from now, we're gonna have to live like Australians and have them gel blasters. Yeah.
Then we can do gel blaster pain videos, can't we?
Oh yeah, stand there like that. Come on, shoot me!
That keeps coming up on my bloody Facebook feed. That one video. I was like,
Shoot me in the foot. Go on.
I'll just wait for someone to do that here with an airsoft gun, and the amount of shit we'll get off that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, if you actually watch some of them gel blaster videos, it is ripping off airsoft, even to the gearbox shells. A guy stuck a Gate Titan in one, and it works amazingly. It fits straight into this gel blaster gearbox.
Yeah, all they are is clones of what we use, but they're just all plastic internals.
Because they don't have hop-ups, we have them. Their hop-up is at the end of their barrel on the muzzle.
Okay.
Which I'm not entirely sure how that works, but that's what some dude said on Reddit.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's worse, because it puts the backspin on as the BB's already slowing down.
And as it comes out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's kind of like going to the toilet after you've had sex.
What?
I'm gonna pee in this bowl, but I'll accidentally piss in the bath.
There's the line. Darren's over there somewhere.
This is why everyone's channel's doing better than mine.
YouTube got the big sensor arrow pointed at you,
No surrender.
Remember we said about the benchmark?
Yeah, yes, and yes.
I generally don't know, Tom, if you're gonna be putting any of this on your channel.
Nope.
Hey, at least he's honest.
But say like you take the tamer parts and whatever, or if you ever do, and you take the edited tamer parts.
You won't appear.
Censored.
I broke Darren.
The big edit of me and Kiwi having a really nice chat.
Thanks.
If you'd like to see the interview I did with the Sons of Adrenaline, the new controversial channel, click here. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, it's gone.
I just put a big beep, censored, no.
It's the Sons of the Thin Brown Line. Beep.
You know those video, you kind of search for watch whatever film online, and you click and you get a YouTube link, and you go, oh, brilliant, I'm going to watch whatever from 20 years ago. And it says, this video has been removed from YouTube. If you want to go and see it, click on the link in the comments.
That about suits us lot.
Yeah, but you don't want to link to Pornhub on YouTube because that's going to get you banned.
No.
Tonight on a Thin Brown Kiwi, they talk mature stuff. Darren, I pissed in a bath.
Oh, God.
Wow, real groundbreaking stuff here, guys.
So let's... The magic's in the edit.
Yeah, magic is in the edit. So,
We've just let Tom into the fact that all we do is just talk shit and act like children.
Like I didn't know that coming in.
There is that.
you watched the first episode, it was a lot like this. So shall we come back to what we were actually talking about? If we were suddenly allowed to run a game and do whatever we wanted, how would we go about setting up different classes and different limits?
Oh, good question. Take it away, Mark.
I mean, personally, I would, other than the fact I make my own airsoft guns that do strange things, but I tend to run more realistic ones. I mean, like I've got a M4 training rifle now that will be having recoil put in it as well, just to take the mickey. I run my L85s, I've got the carbine, I've got a VSI, you know, more realistic looking things. But I would have pistols that fire, like Tom said, you know, 15, maybe 20 metres, then SMGs a little bit further, then your standard assault rifles or battle rifles a little bit further again, then DMRs even further, and then obviously your sniper rifles even further, obviously FPS appropriate to them as well. The problem is it's quite difficult, it would be quite difficult to police it as well, because again, as we said, you've got a lot of pistol caliber, Americanized carbine rifle SMG things.
I think the only way you could do it is tie FPS limits to simulate the caliber of the rifle. So anything less than 5.56 or 5.45 is tied to 1 joule and is allowed no engagement distance. And then 5.56, 5.45, your kind of intermediate cartridges have the kind of 350 limit. Full auto, maybe 10 meter minimum engagement. And then you go up to battle rifle style, and in battle rifles you have to say a semi-auto.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to make a differentiation. Yeah.
Including that long barrel 5.56, so things like LSWs, the kind of long DMRs. What was the American accurized one? The
Mark 12.
And then going up from battle rifles, you then get into your sniper rifles. But then where would you put like support gunners in that? Because if you've got someone rocking a M60 or a Gimpy,
Yeah, with our FPS limits, it's very difficult to do support guns. Support guns in the UK only really work when you're running ammo limits. Then they make a big difference.
The other thing is, when you go up to sniper rifles, yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you say, for example, you've got VSR or you've got a Dragunov, and you know they would be fixed to say 500 FPS. Where would you stick a Barrett 50 cal?
in the bin, because most of them are crap.
900 FPS.
See, for me, it's not too bad because the games I play, we know each other. We know the scenario. You know, it's film sim, so we could easily do it in terms of and plus the ammo limits are strict. So a rifleman is carrying no more than its real cap. So you're playing with 30 BBs in a mag, generally. Your rifleman's carrying no more than 300 BBs. Your light machine gunners are carrying 600. So that's your RPKs or your LSWs. Your support gunners may have up to 3,000. That's your PKM. So their viability is weight of fire, because when your rifleman have got 30 rounds in a mag, a PKM with 2,000 in a box mag that's a major thing to base it on. And we could quite easily just to get people to turn the pistols, just turn the hop off. And then DMRs can sit wherever they want to do. We can do it because we can trust people not to be dicks with them. We can have 500 FPS 2.2 dual DMRs because we can quite happily go just have one BB in the air at any one time, and we can trust people not to be dicks with them.
I suppose with that as well is you that might actually help with like everybody's main bugbear, hit calling, because if you are, for instance, in like a 5.56 rifle, you are limited to real caps. If you know that everybody who's firing the same thing as what you're firing back at you has only got 30 rounds per mag, you're probably going to be, well, I would personally be thinking more along the lines of, well, how would I feel if I had just, spent a couple of minutes lining up that shot because I know I haven't got many rounds and hit him and he's gone, nah, you missed,
Or turned round and shot you.
Or turns around and goes...
We just don't have those problems. We just don't have that problem in film sim. And anyone that is a problem is gone.
Usually doesn't come back. Yeah.
Is asked that they don't really get it, and that's fine. But so I get that in an open day skirmish thing, that's a very difficult thing to police.
It does become quite a problem in open day skirmishes. I mean, we've noticed it quite a few times. We will have a very good day where hit calling is fantastic, and then the next time we'll go and there'll be like a little team. Now, usually rental players or a visiting team.
I've normally found the rentals are quite. Normally find rental players are really good because they haven't quite learned how to be naughty yet.
Depends. Sometimes the rentals are fantastic. They'll take the hits and they'll go, well, I've never done this before. It's fun. But sometimes you get that little squad of rentals, usually around the age of 16, 17.
I actually agree with him there. Yeah.
Yeah, and usually male that go, well, you didn't hit me, and they just want to go full bore all day.
But I don't think it's... I have noticed that a lot of newbies and rentals are more prone to cheating, at least on my field. But I think majority of the time, I think it is honest mistakes, because either they don't understand the rules clearly, or they already know so much about Airsoft and they're padded to hell underneath them big heavy smocks.
They've watched too many videos, yeah.
Well, if you go back to that video I did on, I don't know if you've watched it, called Can I Feel It?
Yes, where you're stood there getting shot at, yes. Popcorn.
Whoa, what was that hand gesture?
We're going to do another one called How Much Does It Hurt soon, where I'm going to get shot with different weights of BBs from different ranges. But it's, with all that kit on, 75% of those BBs, and unless I was listening really careful, I couldn't feel.
Yeah, I mean you wasn't stood that far out either, was you? And it was just hitting your plate carrier and you're going, I can hear it, I just can't feel it.
So if you're in the middle of a game and your gun's firing and there's BBs missing, and I think a lot of it, but I think I'm going to try and tie this back into our subject in a minute. So if there's a lot of noise going on and there's a lot of distractions, and a lot of those new players will be in sensory overload anyway, because they're having to deal with adrenaline and noise and shouting and flashbangs and smoke and people firing. It's very difficult. So with the games that we play, there's much less noise. There's much less shooting going on. You're taking much better aim because you've only got 30 BBs in your mag. And with we've started doing some practical shooting at Thurliston recently, in terms of trying to ape the kind of in-range two-gun action challenge match stuff. And it's actually, when you're even on a flat range with no one shooting at you, if you've exerted yourself, it's really hard to make a shot. It's really hard to make a shot. And even at 10, 20 metres away against a static target, you've got to really stop, aim, breathe and shoot. So it's like the combination of you're not actually hitting what you're shooting at, almost certainly, and the player almost certainly overdressed, as you talked about. They've got the overalls and a hoodie on. Hoodies are the worst. You can't feel a fucking thing in a hoodie.
Most of the time, they all show up in blue jeans and then an old British Army smock. So they kind of look like Rodney from Only Fools and Horses.
Just walk past them and go, "Oh, Dave."
We've gone back to Nicholas Lyndhurst again.
Because they all dress like that.
And most people don't want a close distance, so you're engaging at 40 metres, 50 metres. And you're using crap ammo, so it doesn't wet. So the terminal energy is not very good.
Yeah, because they're using the Bogo standard stuff that the site sells.
Might be two 5s if you're lucky.
Yeah, and they're using guns that have not necessarily, but are quite old. So the hop might not be all that good, and
so they're not accurized. So the combination of everything just doesn't work. Whereas again, the games we play, people care about their guns, they care about their ammo, they're caring about the shots, they're taking much more measured shots. I think in that kind of environment, we can do that kind of rule where we have different FPSs and different rules and different classes. Plus, everyone there's experienced and they understand the fact that their pistol can only do this, their SMG can do this, their rifle can.
Our gear actually fits us, because a lot of rental players end up with the the boiler suits where the sleeves come down here and it's all their arse is hanging down at their ankles and all sorts.
And then they're getting shot at by a player with a bad gun at 50 metres using crap ammo. And then there's BBs bouncing off trees near them, they're firing back. And so even if a BB does hit them, the chances of them actually feeling that shot, really, let's think about it, is really tiny.
It's already on top of the very slim chances of the shot actually hitting them.
Yeah, it's really, the more testing I do, the more and more I think, and of course there are deliberate cheats, of course there are. The more and more, and actually I used to marshal a lot as well. So once you've marshalled, your perspective changes anyway. Most people thinking they've shot people haven't shot people, and most people who haven't taken a hit won't know they've been hit in the first place. I was playing at Extreme a couple of weeks ago for their open day, and I took some hits in my plate carrier. I didn't even know, but I got shot at close range. That gun was pointing vaguely at me, and I'm just like, do you know what? I'm just going to take that because you had the drop on me, you pulled the trigger. I didn't feel it or hear it, but who knows what the hell's going on. I'm just going to walk off the field.
The other time it's an issue for for people feeling the hits is, I've noticed, ghillie suits. You know, the really big, thick ghillie suits. I mean, even at a skirmish, in fact, a few of us witnessed it last time we played. We was on a pushback, and this sniper actually got to minimum engagement distance and had like 6 people shooting him. He couldn't feel a thing because he had this really thick, padded, but the really, really like matted ghillie suits. He had a really matted ghillie suit on. He couldn't feel a single shot, and we're all like 15 meters away from him, firing on full auto, and he's just stood there going, "No."
Well, I've got a good mate who snipes, and his opinion is if I'm being shot at, they're targeting me, I'm either too close or my job is done. I'm done. If I'm a ghillie sniper and I'm being engaged, I'm no longer a ghillie sniper. That's it. My job is to now bug out, find a different position. And I think that's a fair thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, these two know that I run as a sniper quite often as well, and this is all I wear when I sniper. I have, my beret on, as always. I just wear my shirt. Sometimes I have a t-shirt underneath like now or not. But yeah, if BBs are bouncing off trees around me, either there's a sniper off in the distance or I'm way too close. And then I just unsling whatever assault rifle I've got with me, because I usually carry an assault rifle, pistol, and sniper rifle.
God.
Oh yeah. Usually I carry 2 pistols.
Like a man from the Division.
Oh yeah. Bottomless pack. But normally, I'll just prop my sniper against a tree and then engage at close distance.
So the number one rule I always go by is, remember, you're always just the bad guy in someone else's action movie when you're playing Airsoft. So, if they're getting a good shot on you and then maybe hitting you, maybe not, you might as well take it, because you know that's going to make that other guy feel pretty happy about themselves. And it means you were in the wrong place.
Yeah, you made a mistake. You made a mistake.
I mean, it's same general rule of thumb, isn't it? If you think you might have been hit, you might as well just call it.
Well, unless you're playing like a massive Milsim, what are you going to do? You're going to walk back to respawn and that's it. You're back in.
Yeah, with most, when I started playing, you didn't, and this is back, 2000, there were no respawns. You got shot, you were out. So we quite often played one medic, but that was it. So if playing a 45-minute game and you're shot in the first 5 minutes, tough. You're sitting down having a coffee and a fag.
Bit like general paintball rules. 9 times out of 10, you get shot, you're out. That's it. Job done.
This whole respawn thing, which has come from computer games, but then blah, blah. I think that's maybe another topic for another day, which could be quite an interesting one.
Oh, okay, cool, brilliant. Right, well, we're going to wrap up then. Unfortunately, Mark's still alive, but we're going to end it anyway. Oh, well, that's fixed. Right. So, first of all, a massive thank you to Tom for coming on and putting up with us for 2 hours.
Stop it.
Not worthy.
We're not worthy. Yes, as we've discovered through this episode, he is in fact Airsoft Jesus, and will be leading us to the promised land. So, if you aren't already subscribed, there should be links appearing somewhere. Subscribe to AATV. It is one of the best, if not the best, factual Airsoft channel going at the moment. And hopefully it shall grow massively and reach the peak of Airsoft influencer.
Oh, God.
Airsoft content creator / informer, because the information he gives out is great. Although 9mm DMR, I'm not sold on that idea. And if you're still watching, thank you very much for sitting through what must be hours and hours of crap.
Of which about 20 minutes are usable.
Yes, and probably Mark's camera's turned off in the first 3 seconds, so...
No, mine's fine. It's been running the whole time this time.
Tom, thank you once again for indulging me. Sorry for the obsessive verbal diarrhea, but you kind of knew that was coming.
It's been great.
For my people on my channel, make sure you subscribe to Thin Brown Line. Make sure you subscribe to the English Kiwi. Link in the description below. And obviously our special guest, Tom, for
AATV. Thank you for coming on.
And make sure you subscribe to his channel in the link below. And make sure you hit his bell so you get the notification.
And for my channel as well then, thanks for sticking with us this long and flag problems and stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to Ben, English Kiwi, Darren, Sons of Adrenaline Airsoft, and our special guest, the first one that actually could connect to us this time, Ben from AATV.
Ben?
You're not Ben, you're Tom. Tom. I can't even get the own channels right. Tom.
Get a grip, man.
From AATV. Shut up, Darren. Fantastic channel, very informative. Lots of different airsoft riffs on there. Lots of gear. Go back over his videos. There's some brilliant impression gear, loadouts and setups. And yeah, thanks for watching us lot.
You're still here? It's over. Go watch another video. Go. Actually, wait, hang on. Before you do, if you haven't already, try subscribing, and try watching one of these videos appearing around here. But still, it's past the end. What are you doing here?